you're never alone. There's always someone willing to help selflessly, and Roger and Renee truly represent that. They've supported not just me but so many other business owners, even most of the time they don't have to, right? So their generosity and how they're always willing to share their expertise and knowledge inspire me, really inspire me. That's what makes this business so special. You're never on your own because people like Roger and Renee are always there to help and inspire. Okay, I know I've kept you waiting long enough, but I'm just so excited for you to hear their story. So without further ado, let's give it up for amazing Roger and Renee.
Hello,
Hey everyone.
everyone. Thank you, Kath, for having us on your page to speak to you. So, Kath is one of the business mentors in our community, and she is so dedicated. She is so knowledgeable, and it's just inspiring to see her grow and her journey. So, we're honored to be here and to be
Yeah,
interviewed by you.
yeah, and thank you for that incredible introduction. I don't know what she's talking about,
But one
but
thing,
no, but we're grateful
yeah.
to be able to share, to be here with you, and to share with everyone just a few things. Even one person, would be able to gain from this. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Kathy.
Yeah. Um, a lot of people are, and including me, I wanted to know, like, can you share, like, what your life was like before, like, starting this business? What were you doing back then before you started this?
Yeah,
Mhm.
of course. So I was originally working as a designer in an online insurance company. We were originally from originally from Jamaica. I was originally from
The
the
Philippines, like
Philippines,
Kath.
like, and we worked in two booming industries. I would say maybe one of the number one industries. I guess number one, number two, depending on who we're talking to. It's healthcare and in technology, and we even though we're working in two of the best industries, we were still living paycheck to paycheck. We were still getting small amounts of each time. We were still sending our child to home daycare and hoping for some other change, that this was not life. We had to travel. One of us had to travel downtown Toronto, 1.5 hours one way, so
Mhm.
3 hours back and forth. That's just for one of us. And it took a lot of time. It took a lot of effort to do so. So that was our life, but we knew there was some other way. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were paycheck to paycheck, not because we were irresponsible, but I think it's just like a lot of you guys, we had student loans,
Hmm.
we had a little bit of credit card debt. So it wasn't like, oh, we were living large and just trying to spend. It wasn't like that because we were trying to be responsible.
Hmm.
But sometimes, life just happens, for you to get your degrees, your education, you have to get into debt in Canada. That's just how it is for us. So we lived in Toronto for a bit, and then that's the normal life, and to us, it wasn't really normal to always go into debt, always depend on your credit card. That wasn't really what we wanted for ourselves and for our kids,
Hmm.
because whatever we do right now, our kids are looking at us, right? And so if we say, you know what, just spend your credit or use your credit card for these expenses, then they're going to internalize that, and then they will do that with their own families. But we want generational wealth for our kids and our families. So we knew that it had to start with us somehow. So that's a little bit of our background. We just wanted to break free from that. And for me, I wanted to be home with them. So working full time as a nurse meant that we would have to send them to daycare, or we wouldn't see them much. And somebody else would be like pouring into them as opposed to myself. I wanted to be doing that for them. So It wasn't really an option for us. So we really looked for a solution for all of those problems, right? It was kind of like we have a long list and we just kind of went, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this. So we were looking for that solution, an all in one solution.
Yeah, and I wanted to be able to secure my family in terms of the present, even though, like I said, we were working constantly in two big industries. Securing the family's present and future what seemed possible, because we work 9 to 5, and when you work in 9 to 5 you say, oh man, I'm working, I have purpose here, I want to be able to grow in my role, I want to be able to do so many things, and I want to be able to make a difference in where I'm working and for my family. But long and short of it, it doesn't really work that way, unfortunately. So securing my family's present and future was kind of a stretch. So looking for something else was the absolute absolutely necessary. And
Mhm.
I realized that even more so later on, and we'll probably share that a little bit later.
Yeah, it's amazing to like knowing you guys that you're Coach Renee, you're already a nurse, and Coach Roger is already an IT, and you've accomplished so much more before joining the business. But it also makes me kind of curious at first before I heard that, because coming from a successful background already, like what made you, like what was the turning point when you made you decide to switch, like to leap into something new, like this online business?
Yeah, I think um, they say, we read a quote somewhere saying that your degrees and your high paying job will never give you the freedom that you're longing for. And I think that's what really hit us because especially when you're an immigrant, they tell you, okay, just get a high paying job or a very secure job like in healthcare or tech, and you'll be fine, right? And then we buy into that kind of narrative. But
Hmm.
once you're really living it, it's not real, it's not true, because as long as somebody owns your time,
Hmm.
you don't really decide what goes on in your life. For example, for us, right? Good paying jobs, yeah, but there's also a cap. Like you can't just ask for a $10 increase because your responsibilities got larger in your job. It doesn't work that way. There's like a 50 cent, a dollar maybe increase, and that's it. But you give your 1000% to the job to the point that you actually don't see your family much, you don't see your kids much, right? So the ROI for us was not really fair because you give your life to your job, but for at what cost? You come home and your relationship is not well with your husband or wife, or your kids don't know you. So we said we want an earning potential where it's uncapped. We get to decide how many raises we give ourselves, right? While at the same time, we don't have to sacrifice time away from family. That was like the cake for us. Like that is what we want. That is the balance that we want. And as long as you're employed, you're never gonna get that. So I think we shot for the stars here because we were working our 9 to 5, right? And so people were looking at us like, that's like they're ungrateful, or like, what more could you want, right? Because these are also people who didn't know that there's a better solution, right? So they just thought, okay, that's how life is supposed to be, so you're supposed to just stay there,
Hmm.
right? But once you actually, because remember, when you have a certain goal, you don't hang out with people who don't have that goal, right? Because they're just gonna set you back. You hang out with people who are like-minded, who also are looking to pay off their mortgage, retire their parents, like who have big dreams. And so once you rub shoulders with people like that, your life, your mind truly expands. So I think that's what it is for us. It's like uh, a personal development journey, but also just realizing, hey, these are the things that we want. We want to travel anytime we want, and while we travel, we still want to get, the thousands of dollars in our bank accounts, like passively. That's what we wanted. To people right now, to most people, that's a dream. But to us, we actually work hard for that reality because we have a platform that can help us do that. And that's why Kath is sharing this to you. Like, we're talking to you about this because this is real, this is possible. And so I think that's my answer to that. If you want to add anything.
No, I think that's one of the closest answers, I would even say as well. I have something additional to add, but I think that was really the meat of where we stood in terms of going in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And yeah, it's so inspiring to hear your why behind this decision. That was my why too. Like 3 weeks in a year is never enough for a vacation. And yeah, when we're employed, it's like you're only locked to that. Because and also when you say about the cap, like in terms of salary, in here, the more effort you put in, the more you'll get, right? So now I know that every new beginning comes with challenges. Could you tell us how was your first year in the business was, and um, what should someone expect when they're just starting out?
Okay.
You.
Okay.
Okay. It wasn't like anything new. It was uncomfortable. It was not easy at all because remember, this is an online business, right? So I didn't have business experience. I didn't have online experience, not very techy either. So there was a lot of learning that needed to happen. In our business platform, we're offered a training site, which is very good. It's a video based step by step training site. So I immersed myself in that for maybe the first 6 months to get comfortable with it. And that is true for anything new in life, whether you just became a mom, you have to learn certain skills. But the difference, I guess, is being a mom, you don't get a manual. So it's harder. But with the online business, they gave us like a step by step blueprint, so you don't have to guess like, oh, what do I have to do next, and then trial and error. We didn't have time for trial and errors. That's why we went with this business platform, because it just shows you, okay, first step this, and then if you want to get to this goal, you do this. So it's very much laid out, right? So we're grateful for that. But a lot of leaving my comfort zone, I think the biggest thing for me was just being on social media, because even though I had Facebook, right, or I had YouTube, I didn't really use it for business. I was just there to like kind of connect with people maybe, but I wasn't much of a poster. I certainly didn't do videos. So I'm more still of an introvert, right? So I don't really enjoy that, or I didn't enjoy that. So I had to learn how to kind of appear on video and just be comfortable with that, knowing that I'm doing it for a greater purpose now as opposed to just posting for nothing. So that was a thing for me. I think giving yourself grace, a lot of grace when you're learning something new is very important, because you don't want to be constantly thinking, oh my gosh, I'm a failure at this. See, because I messed it up again. I'm a failure. You can't really move forward in life with that kind of mindset. So I had to get rid of that. I had to just be like, you know what? I accept that this is not something that I'm comfortable with. I'm not good at it yet, but I can good at it. I can get good at it with practice. So it's a lot of like mental work that I had to conquer, I think,
Mm.
for me.
Okay. In terms of myself, you heard our background, where we're coming from. So it was more like I was in full throttle in doing my full-time job. And so I thought that in some ways, I thought that, okay, taking on something else would be that much more daunting. But I was wrong about that. So doing my full-time job and running a business is absolutely possible. Again, because you have step by step, you go at your own pace as well. Step by step training, a system behind you, and support behind you as well. And that's one of the things I realized coming in.
Mm.
Um, Again, Renee talked about being on social media, and I used to come on social. I didn't used to use Facebook much at all, and even other social media platforms. I kind of posted on there, not showing. Well, sometimes I showed my face, sometimes I didn't, but mainly came on to look at other people's stuff. Uh, that was the main thing, and post every now and again. But it was something similar in terms of sharing and posting. I had to wrap my mind around, okay, I'm doing this again, same thing for a purpose, a specific purpose that will not only share value to someone, but will also it I realized later on that giving the stuff that I shared was giving value to someone, and also I'm doing it for the reason, specific purpose of pushing my family forward, not some other business or someone else's bottom line forward. It's your family that my family that I was pushing forward at the same time. So being able to wrap my mind around it and get in the structure, the kind of what's the word I want to use, the frequency of doing it. It was a muscle I had to exercise and flex. Just like I go to the gym sometimes, and I had to eventually uh, get into a groove where you're working out. I'm working out and I'm doing exercising these muscles, my arms, whatever the case is. Same thing. Practice, made permanent, and that's exactly what happened as I started to set time aside, as I started to get into the frequency of doing it and flex that muscle. It just became natural and normal. Yeah. So that's what the year looked like.
That's so good. Um, I can relate to that introvert because I'm an introvert myself. I like spending more time with my family, like indoors, and it's a good point as well when you said about like the blueprint. It's like we have our own GPS here in our business, and it's up to you if you follow that, and it's up to you if you follow that blueprint, and it will lead you to success if you gonna be consistent. And the posting, I love that because before I hate posting because I would think like what would think about this. They will think I'm bragging, they will think or something like that. And right now I'm every post that I make it's like to give value, or maybe it would sound like bragging, but how you do it, it's like you're intentional in what you're doing, especially in social media, because most of the people think that social media is just for sharing and connecting with people. And so most of the people don't know that we can earn from it too, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, you've mentioned I heard before, like in some of our Zoom meetings, that you've tried and researched other businesses before this one. What stood out about this business compared to the rest?
Yeah. So, do you want to speak to that because you started some
Yeah,
stuff?
no, no, yeah, I can. So before we started this business, I tried a couple things, like Quibids, online auctions. I've tried to partner with others to create a product because of my background. And none of that really worked. None of that really panned out because there was no system behind. There was no step-by-step training. There was no support. And you know, this is what you do, the blueprint, step by step, and how to do it. So uh, the thing that that allowed us to realize that this was the business for us, is all those things that were missing that I just mentioned. uh, the the step by step training, everything is provided in terms of what you need to succeed. And so when Renee is one that found this business online, and she said, "Hey, I found something." I was said, "Really? You think you found something? We really did?" Okay, and so went in, we looked at it, and it's like, "Oh wow, this is a no brainer." That's that's what I thought. It's a no brainer because everything that we had tried before. I think Renee had looked at, I don't know, Amazon or something like that
Yeah,
before.
I tried looking into Amazon, but the problem with that too was the the commissions, because they were saying, okay,
Yeah,
1% here, 2%. I'm like, okay, so if I sold a $10 thing, 1% is 10, what is it, 10 cents?
yeah, something like that.
And
It's
I'm like, but
really low ticket stuff, right?
we have four. So we, at that time when we found this business, we failed to mention this. We had $74,000 in debt.
Yeah, that's right.
So I
That's right.
said, how many of these items do I have to sell to change our lives? If I get 10 cents each time, it's like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I said, if I if I'm gonna learn an online business on how to run it, I want an online business that gave me thousands per sale.
Mhm.
I don't want just a regular 10 cent, 50 cent here. How can you take your kids to Disney World with that? Like I don't. So a lot of people, what a lot of people miss is when they see all these ads, right, on social media, because there's so many ads out there that go, okay, online business, start it, it's so easy, you don't need money to start it. If you don't need money to start it, chances are it's because the return is next to nothing, or there's no mentorship, right?
Mhm.
So once you buy into their program, sorry,
Sorry for the background noise.
once you buy into their program, that's it, they made money and they don't have to look after you, so they don't care if you make money or not, right? Or you know what I'm saying? So when we found this online business platform, we said, okay, there's integrity there, and there really is a way for people to support you. And the commissions, I mean, like, we make $5,000 in one sale, right? 5,000 US in one sale. So, how many, for those of you who are watching this and you want to change your life, like seriously change your financial situation, how many sales do you need in a month to change your life? Just think about it. Or how many sales do you need in a month so that you can free up your spouse from a toxic workplace environment? How many?
Mhm, mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Or build that deck, go on that vacation with your family that you've been waiting for I don't know how long. All right.
So those are the questions that we asked ourselves, because at that time I was making what, 4 grand as a nurse full time, leaving my kids, not seeing him. So I'm like, okay, if I did one sale in this online business, if I really put my head into it,
Mm.
I can replace my income. So when you guys are looking for an online business opportunity, make sure that you can free up your time and make sure it is worth your time in terms of how much commissions are you getting. Because if you're going through all of this time learning the process and it will only give you $10 per sale, like, what, there's no,
Mm.
really, you want to do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the considerations that we had in our heads, and that's why we chose this.
Yeah, that's really a great insight because it really highlights why this business has made such a big impact, of course, to most of us business owners. And before I um, ask you the last question, let's um, oh, see the comments. Yeah. Hi, girly.
Hello.
The next one, do one need to have USA bank account to pay the $149?
You want to answer that, Kath, or do you want us to answer it?
Yeah.
Sure, you can answer it.
Okay, Kevin, it depends on where you're at. So this is a global business. So it depends. We usually take, I think, most of the credit cards. If you have a credit card,
But the
or Google
149 is
Pay.
US.
149 is in US dollars,
Hmm.
yes. But you can pay with it with like any major credit card or Google Pay or anything like that. You don't have to have a USA bank account to pay the 149. No.
Mm.
No.
And then, hi Aryan. Thank
Aaron.
you.
Alan's a really good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the last question. What are some of the, oh, there's another one. Can the pay via PayPal or Wise?
I don't know about Wise, but
Uh,
PayPal, yes. They
yeah.
can pay through PayPal. I'm not sure about Wise, but it Wise sounds like I've heard of Wise before, so maybe they can try. But
If Wise has the capability to integrate with major cards, then yes.
yeah,
Major methods of payment, then absolutely yes.
yeah.
There we go. So the last question is, what are the biggest lessons you've learned from running your own business? What advice would you give to someone who's hesitant to trying something new because they're afraid of failing? I was like this too, but yeah, you can answer that.
Um, that's a great question. So, one of the things I would share is that if you're afraid of failing, I mean, I guess, when we grow up, we kind of learn that don't make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, you will fall to the ground, and that's it. That's the end of the story, right?
Mm,
But as as we grow, or as I grew up, I learned that failing is the best way for you to learn what not to do, so that you can move on to what you can do, what you can learn to do. So, for example, there are a lot of people who started businesses, and we've learned this through our journey, right? A lot of people who started business, they fail multiple times.
mm,
Um, and through those feelings, they've learned exactly what avenues, what paths not to take, so that now, when they learn to be successful, maybe the business goes down, and they know exactly how to grow that business back up again. So they're not going through all the failings again, because they did them already, right?
mm-hmm.
So now they can concentrate on, these are the steps and the path that I can take. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid at all, because that's the best way, so that you can for you to learn exactly what not to do. Okay. Take the step and explore, because if you're skeptical, we say that's a very, very good thing, because it should lead you to finding out and exploring for yourself, getting all the information for yourself that you need to know, so that you can make the most informed decision. So that's what we say skepticism is. And if it's don't take negative skepticism, because that will keep you in one place, the same place that you are right now. And if you keep doing the exact same thing for the next year, you'll be stuck in the exact same place, right? So we want to move forward and grow and be better.
Yeah, and also we are. It's important who you listen to, who you associate yourself with, right? So you can't if you
Mhm.
have a dream, you have to protect it, because a lot of people will tell you all sorts of stuff
Oh
like,
my,
oh
yes.
my gosh, online, that's a scam, da, da, da. But it's up to you to protect that dream that you have. So for us, we actually now, you know, when they say, if you if you hang out with four smokers, you will end up being the fifth one, right? Because your peers are so important. So for us, we want to be able to pay our mortgage. We want to be able to retire our parents. So we hang out with people who have already done that. And Kath will tell you, in our community, that's been done so many times already in our community. Okay, so many families have done that. So when we associate ourselves with those people, we actually learn from them, and they will tell you, man, we've failed in so many things, right? And so that should be the number one thing for you. It's like what my husband said. It's not oh my gosh, it's shameful because I failed in this. No, it's a building block actually for people who are multimillionaires now. If you hear Tony Robbins, if you hear who's Grant Cardone, for example, they've gained and lost so many times.
Mhm.
But that's what you need to do, because guess what? The lessons that you learn from those failures are exponential. It's not just, okay, I learned this one lesson, so it's going to give me one in equal. No, it's not like that. It's like you learn one bad lesson, but out of that comes a million good ones. You know what I'm saying? So if the failure is what's holding you back, you don't have any issues, because everyone fails before they get to something better. So that's, just get that out of your mind. It will happen, but the good news is that you can pivot. You can actually pivot. You can change your steps, change your ways, and find something that works. That's just human. That's how God made us, you know. So that's, I think that's one of the things that I want to say. And also, and for beginners, Kath, do you mean like for the people who are already in this business?
Like who are contemplating to join,
Okay.
are
Mhm.
not sure, or maybe they know that this is legit, but they they don't know if they will be successful in this.
Hmm. What I would say about that is, so you have to go step by step, because that's what we did. Um, so you can't just really jump from being paycheck to paycheck to being a millionaire in a month. You can't really do that.
Mhm.
So go step by step. So I think Catherine's probably mentioned to you guys a whole lot of times to check out the info session and then go from there, right? But the info session is a very good place to start, because it will actually give you an idea if this is the type of community that you want to be in, right? And then after that, if you pay the 149 because you want to learn more about the commissions, the products, the investment options, everything is there for you to see before you sign the dotted line. So we suggest that you go in there so that you can say, hey, you know what? I've seen everything from front to back and I feel like this is for me. Great. So you can start building your dream. If you've seen everything, you've overturned every stone and you think, you know what, this is not a good match for me, then that's fine. You can get a full refund within 30 days.
Mhm.
But the point is that you've already gone and did your research, right? And that's what you need to know. You're skeptical right now because you don't really know what the offer is, and that's just what it is, right? If you're It's easy to doubt when you know nothing, right? So go out there and get the information so that you can truly say, you know what, I've explored this and I'm going to close this chapter because I've seen everything. But it's hard to be in your position, we understand, because you don't have the information, right? So what you need to do is get information, and so Kath will be able to assist you with that, guide you through that process. But um, don't don't live your life in fear, because we did that before and it got us to $74,000 in debt. So if we could impart a lesson so that you don't have to do the mistakes that we did, is go in fast, get your information fast, and decide fast. Because you can't really, like, we wish we found this business in 2019, but we wish we found it when it started, because we would be, I don't know where we would be right now. I mean, we're in a great place right now, but the sooner you act,
Mhm.
the better it is for you. Whether you go in the business and you work at it, yes, you'll need time, right? Or if it's not for you, then at least you can be like, okay, what other options are out there? Then you can contrast and compare. But you can't really do that without information. So I think that's where we would start.
And don't forget, I mean, don't get scared to ask questions, because
Mm,
that's how will determine that you really are interested in this and you really want to be successful in this. I think that's one of the things that I'm kind of not good at, to ask questions. But now I ask lots of questions because I want to be sure where I'm going to, right? So
Nice.
yeah, thank you so much for that advice. I love the the thing when you said about like five, like you're the average of the five people you spend your time with most of the time. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, like joining this business opens like not just opportunity, but the like connection to more people, more successful people that I can spend more time myself with and be successful in the end as well. So thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. We've Thank you for accommodating us while you're in California. They're actually from Calgary and now they're spending almost a month in California.
Yeah. About
Almost.
3 weeks. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's so nice. But anyway, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today. Your story really shows that success isn't just about talent or resources. It's about being open to learning and stepping out of your comfort zone and staying consistent. So before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add or any final thoughts you want to share, like coaches?
I just wanna, we didn't touch on what this business did for us, and I think that's why we do the things we do is because of the results, right? So, like Kath said, we're here for about 3 weeks in California because one of our main things as a family is to get away from the cold because I'm from the Philippines, Jamaica, so we're tropical people. And so that's really one of the main things why we started the business is so that we can just leave the country and still earn, you know. So because of this business, we're able to do that. Within the first year, so after 8 months of doing the business, it actually replaced and surpassed my full-time nursing income. So this business is real, you guys. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last over 4 years now because of this business. So when Catherine is talking to you about this, right, you may go, okay, business, but this truly is real and it's legitimate and it's changing people's lives, everyday people. Like, I don't think we're different from you guys. We're
Mhm.
working parents. We just want the best for our kids. And that's why we took this business seriously. So we're not making any promises, but if you do take anything with anything, right? If you master it, if you dedicate and commit yourself to it, you will see really good results. So I think we will end with that. It's like, if you find an opportunity that you think is worth your while and you think it will help you get to your goals, really take it seriously. Don't look at it with skeptical. It's like, oh, they're going to take my money, but ask yourself, like, what if this actually can work for me? Because you guys are already on Facebook. Why don't you turn your scrolling time, your mindless scrolling time, into earning time? And you can do that with this platform. So take it seriously, connect with Kath, and hopefully we'll be able to hear about your journey soon.
And it's going to be short for me. So life is filled with small decisions. So make the right decision to invest in yourself, your family, and your future. That's the right path for sure. Cass will take care of you.
That's so good.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, coaches. And to those watching, if you've been thinking about starting something new, but fear or doubts are holding you back, remember you're not alone, and you're not going to be alone in this business. You have the whole community, like Coach and Renee, people who are here to support you every step of the way. I'm gonna be here as well. Forgot to mention my name. But if you found value in this live, be sure to share it with someone who could benefit in this live session today. And don't forget to drop a comment. What's one thing you're taking away from this? Okay.
Mm.
Again, thank you, coaches, and thank you for to all the people who joined. And I'll see you again on my next episode of Go Live with Catherine.
Bye. Thanks,
Okay,
Kath.
bye.
Thanks,
Enjoy the
everyone.
rest of your day.